Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this live on LinkedIn. Hopefully you can see me. I'm doing this on the road, so welcome to this live. If you're watching on LinkedIn and YouTube, we're going to be talking about how to generate leads on LinkedIn. If you're in the chat, say hi in the chat, so I know I'm not talking to myself. So say hello in the chat. I can see all of your chats here on my screen. In fact, I'll show you. Hopefully you can see that with the green screen, but I can see all your chats in here. So do join in. Hi, Bob. Yes, Bob, it is on the 4th of July when we set this up. True British style, still resenting we let you guys go or we lost. Hopefully you take that in good jest. Hi, Jolene. Hi, AJ. Hi, Paul. Oh, hi, Paul. We were chatting to Paul earlier. Hi, John. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you tonight about some of the principles around generating leads on LinkedIn, what works, what doesn't work, some of the key ways I do it, and I'll show you some of those. Please do make it interactive. I don't want to sit here and bore you to death. And as you can see, all of your little comments are here, and I'm seeing them, so I can see. Bonjour, Morgan. Bonjour, Paul Yates. So what I want to do is just get some of the fundamentals out of the way, show you some of the things that will make the difference. Hi, Anne-Marie from across the pond. Show you some of the things that will make the difference, and then literally walk you through the 4 ways that I generate leads, and I'll show you them tonight in real time. So great to see so many of you here lively on the 4th of July. I know I have a big American audience, so I know a lot of you will be kind of celebrating and doing all that stuff, but you can catch up later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I can see all of your questions and everything here. So if you ask a question, I can absolutely answer that. But what I want to do is just get some principles out the way before we dive into the whole lead gen piece. And I'm going to share my LinkedIn because I think that's the best way to do it. And of course, if we're not connected, come follow me, and I'll accept you, and you'll find out more of what I'm up to that will help you grow your business on LinkedIn. So fundamental principle number 1, if you want to generate leads on LinkedIn, you've got to look the part. Now, we'll show you the lead gen tactics a little bit later, but if you don't look the part, you will undermine your credibility when you want people to take action. So I'm not going to spend hours talking about this, but I am going to make clear that these are some of the key things that will make it work for you. So number 1, you need to sort your profile out quickly, and you need to make it very clear who you serve and the value you bring. So I provide sales coaching and training to help people build 6-figure pipelines and win clients on LinkedIn. So whether you're a salesperson, senior exec, or solopreneur, that's who I help. And I help you win business on LinkedIn. And you need to make that really, really clear. If you, and this is just a general rule of LinkedIn, if you require your prospects or target audience to do work, to think too hard, if you make it where they have to do too much work, you will not generate leads. You need to make it as easy for them as possible. And the first way you do that is, number 1, make sure that your profile is clear, who you serve, so that they know that this is relevant for them. So when you decide to put out a post to generate leads, I'm going to show you one in a moment, they know it's relevant for them. When you decide to put out content and drive call to actions, they know it's for them. When you decide to connect with people, and number 1, you should be connecting with 20 people every single day, 20 people, they know, this is the value of connecting with Dean. If you don't have this nailed, everything else you do beyond this will fail. Yeah, and I'm going to be brutal about that because I've seen so many people who have tried LinkedIn, I've tried some stuff, and you look at their presentation of how they are, they don't look credible, they don't have a strong profile, and their value prop is not clear. So number one, this has to be sorted out. Number two, and we're going to dig into content a little bit here, right? Now, do not get involved in the ups and downs of content. Now, what I mean by that is it's not about how many impressions you get. It's about who the impressions are from, right? It's not about how many you get. It's who they are. And what I mean by that is if you want to generate leads from content, and we're going to look at that today, one of the simplest ways to do it is to generate leads from content. It's not the most predictable way to do it. I'll show you them as well. But if you want to generate leads from content, you've got to be as focused as possible. So that means avoiding posting content that will attract the wrong people. So your content, if you want leads from content on LinkedIn, number one, your content has to disqualify people as well as qualify people. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if your content is a catch-all, if your content will drag in anybody, then it's not relevant. So and this is the danger here, the content that will get you leads probably will be the least performing content you do. Think about that. So when you're posting your selfies and when you're posting those things, they are great for building brand and trust, and I do them, and I'll show you some of mine. And let me just, this one here, right? So this post here, hopefully you can see it, or maybe I'll zoom out a little bit. Right, so this post here, 7 things about me, right? And it's just a selfie of me. This one will get me a bit of goodwill and a bit of interest. It's a bit low, 4,000 for me. It's a bit low, but I did have some time off posting last week because I wasn't very well. But this one is not relevant to my target audience, but it helps people get to know me. So this is not going to generate me leads. But I want to show you the post that will generate me leads. So this post here, this video post, reactivate old leads and customers do this. This will generate me leads, low view count. And I'm going to walk through what a lead generation post does. This post here that I did here, let me just pull it up, 22,000. This is very focused, but it's a bit funny. So this will generate me a little bit of business, and it has already, but it's because it's highly focused. So when we're growing our network, we want to grow our network with a highly focused group of people. So if you can serve multiple different audiences, number one, pick one and go all in. So pick one group of people and go all in, because then when you create your content, you can actually speak directly to them. So the more focused you are, the easier it is to get engagement, number one. The other one is it's easier to get leads because all the content is generally relevant to them. So if you want to get leads from content, fundamentally, position number one, zero in on your profile, make it relevant to one specific group of people. Number two, zero your content into a specific group of people. Now, I'm going to show you how I generate my lead gen content and what I do. And it's a little bit different, and it's a little bit kind of counterintuitive in that there's two ways to create lead generation content. The first one is what we call putting salt in the wound. So this is where you speak directly to the problems that your target audience face, the pain points. Todor, what works better on LinkedIn, photos or videos? Well, I'm going to show you two things there, but I'll come to that in a minute, which one works better. The first thing is pain point posts. In other words, where you explain the pain. You show your target audience, you understand the difficulties they're going through, and you explain how and why it happens. Now, this post here is an example of that. And Todo, this is actually a PDF carousel. Now, the PDF carousel is effectively a slideshow. And this is a pain point post because I'm speaking to the problems or the failings that people might have around LinkedIn. And if you come to my profile, you can have a look at this post. I did it yesterday, and you can see they can slide through. And I've made it a little bit funny, but it's actually about the way people use LinkedIn to generate business. Social selling wisdom. Slide number 1, if you throw enough plates, you'll eventually hit somebody. And I'm basically mocking or making light of some of the pains or some of the ways that people use LinkedIn that might yield a little result, but it's hard to replicate in the long term. So I've done this post as a carousel and talked to some of the bad practice, some of the misunderstandings that people have. And this is a pain point post. So I'm basically speaking to the things that people don't get on LinkedIn. And because I'm speaking to their issues, this one has done very, very well, in fact, for a lead gen post. So I'm explaining the pain, right? So I've explained the pain on this post. And as a result, just shy of 23,000 impressions. Now, Tador's question is, put photos or videos. I would say to you, number 1, if you want to generate leads, it's PDFs or videos. PDFs or videos are more predictable. They'll perform better and they'll help you engage people better. So this one, for an example here, this is a pain point post. So I'm speaking to the problems that people face and explaining it and helping people understand it. Now, I'll show you another one here, how to get inbound leads from people who need what you sell, right? And I've given some examples and I've put my call to action. It's very important, if you want leads from LinkedIn, that at least 25% of your content has a fixed call to action. Not just, oh, book on my Calendly. Nobody does that, by the way. You actually tell people to message you. So I have a call to action, which is DM me win to get clients on LinkedIn. And I have people DMing me saying win, because I'm giving people a structured way to reach out to me. I'm making it very clear how they can take action. So this, I put this on 25% of my content to make it very clear how people can take action. Just adding a call to action on any post will increase the number of leads you get. So very, very simply, there's pain point posts where you explain the pain that people are in. Number 2 is actually having a call to action. Make it very clear, at least 25% of your content, you need to have a very clear and obvious call to action. And you can see mine here, DM me win to get clients on LinkedIn. That's what I do. That's how I help people. So it's very clear. If that's what you want, this is how you mess it. This is what you do next. So providing structure to people helps you generate leads. There's so many people who lose out on leads because they just don't tell people exactly how to engage. And believe me, telling people to click your Calendly is a recipe for disaster. So pain point posts, explain the pain. You can have a look at my Simpsons post that I did yesterday, and you'll see I'm explaining the problems or the ways that people might be doing things that aren't working. And people see that and go, well, yeah, we're trying that and it's not working. So they resonate and go, Dean, show me another way. Show me another way. So pain point posts are really effective. I've mixed a bit of comedy in with my pain point posts, so it's outperformed what would normally be representative. But generally speaking, pain point posts are basically twisting the knife and explaining to people this is the problem. So this is a pain point post. It's very short, very sweet. There's no call to action on this one. because it's actually at the end. It's actually at the end of the PDF. So that's the first one. The second one is a bit more optimistic, and this is about selling the goal, right? So this is where you're giving people practical things that they can do and say, if you want to go to the next level, message me. And you can see that this one is a video. And generally speaking, this video hasn't done that well for me compared to my normals, but I'm telling people some practical advice on what to do. You see, sometimes when we promote, what happens is people smell the promotion, and as a result, they question whether they should engage. But when you start to give people practical advice and tips, they start to see, well, if this is how you're helping people publicly, what could you do privately? What could you do for me? If this is what you're giving for free, what are you actually giving to your paying clients? So giving people practical advice, and again, mixing the 25% call to action, makes a mammoth difference. Now, of course, you can't just go, I'm going to post today and I'm going to get leads. That's not how it works. You can't just post once in a blue moon and hope for it to be working. You have to build a system. And the system should be, number one, I'm growing my leads. I'm growing my connections daily. Number two, I'm providing a mix of content, which is both attractional, nurture, which is some of this, and content with direct, unambiguous call to actions, clear calls to action to say, this is how you engage with me. You have to have that mix, because if you just post stuff to try and generate leads, you will not get the visibility to be able to get the leads. It's like it's a vicious circle. If you post too much to try and generate leads, you stop getting the visibility, and so you don't get the leads. And likewise, if you post too much just to get attention, you get lots of attention, but it won't convert. So there's a fine balance. And this is where you need your notebooks, because I'm going to tell you what the balance is. Assuming you were posting once per day, 5 days per week, you need 40% of your content. So 2 out of 5 needs to be attractional, light, personal, relaxed, not salesy, not promotional, but joined up. It can't just be random, I found a guinea pig and I'm stroking it and it's cute and everybody loves it. Has to be relevant in some way, but it can be personal and non-salesy. 40%. And I recommend you do those on Mondays and Fridays. So that's your attract content. That gets you the eyeballs. The nurture content, which is the stuff that your leads will appreciate the most, is the nurture content. And again, you want to do 40% of your content is nurture content. So that means 2 days a week, you're posting stuff that is useful, that your audience can use and consume for themselves. They get a direct benefit from that content. And then the final piece, which is your lead generation content. This is the piece of content that I actually put in the middle of the week, so Wednesdays. Now, I do slightly different schedule because I post more than once per week. But once per week, you do a post where you go, hey, this is what I sell. This is the difference it makes. This is how you can get in touch. Direct. Yeah. Now, you can put your call to action on other posts, but if you do it too much, you drive people away. So that's why I say a quarter of your content, you can put direct call to action on, maybe up to 40%, but you don't want to do it too much. So 40% of the content should be nurture content, useful content. 40% should be attractional content, and 20% should be direct. This is my product that I'm promoting. That's clear. This is my product that I'm promoting. So that's the mix that you do. And that mix allows the promotional content to be seen. It allows your nurture content to be seen, and the nurture content sets up the inbound leads. Now, there is a type of post, and hopefully you're all still with me. Please let me know in the chat if you're still there and I haven't put you to sleep. There is a type of post that will actually help you, and I'm just swinging back up to it. This is one of the hardest posts to do, but when you do it, it will actually generate you conversations very quickly. And this is what we call the loaded poll. Now, if you're still here and awake on the loaded poll, I'm going to show you how I do a loaded poll. John Craven's still alive. Galia, do I use the company page? The company page is a bit unpredictable. Yes, you can do it, but it's a big, significant investment. It's easier to generate leads on profiles. We do help companies generate leads on their company page. I'm going to show you one method in a moment. But the loaded poll is great for driving engagement and great for getting revenue and opportunities and conversations. Good, Madeline. I'm glad you're still engaged. And Paul, I'm glad you're still here, right? So I'm trying to do this in a crash course here. So please ask questions as we go. So the loaded poll, the reason why the loaded poll works, which you've got one in front of you right now, I'm showing you one in front of me. The reason why the loaded poll works is because you've been a good human being on the platform. It won't work if you don't show up. So what you do is you basically create a poll where people vote to tell you what their goals or their pain points are. Now, number one, it only works if you show up. Number two, it only works if you keep it simple. And number three, and going back to the beginning, it only works if you've grown your network with the right people. So if you've been a bit of a kind of connection addict and you've connected with all sorts of random people and you haven't focused, it's very hard to get a loaded poll going. But when you do, you can actually repeat that poll over and over and over again. And I use about 4 or 5 and I just repeat them. And we call this a quick win campaign. So when somebody comes onto our 6-figure LinkedIn or accelerator programs, the first thing we do is say, start doing your quick win campaigns. Whilst you're building some of the other lead gen tools and building your following and building the email list that you can do off the back of LinkedIn and all that good stuff that builds long-term revenue, this is one of the quickest things. You can have this running inside a week and you can be on calls inside a week. That's how quick it is. But the investment, and this is the biggest thing, you have to get the right question. So if you spend, and this is the nuts bit, if you spend an hour or 2 working on the right question, it will have a bigger payoff than you just, guessing and throwing stuff at it. So this is one of mine. I'll show you a couple of others. The biggest challenge. Notice I've not put a load of long-winded stuff. It's dead simple. It's dead relaxed. It's low key. And because people know me and I've invested time with the connections I've got, I've only got 54 votes in 2 hours. So it's not the most brilliant of posts for me. But people have voted and told me their biggest challenge is booking calls, 20%. So that's about 10 people, 10 and 11 people. Building pipeline, 9 or 10 people. Getting a response from prospects, 26, 27 people. My maths isn't great. And 6 people nurturing prospects. 54 votes there. I can go back to each one of these voters and say, look, I spotted you've said booking calls. I'm more than happy to show you how I book calls from LinkedIn, and I'll give you a practical way you can do it on the call. Do you want to have a conversation? And I can book off this 54 votes. I'll book, I might get more votes over the next 24 hours, but off the 54 votes, I can probably get 7 or 8 calls booked off 54, maybe a few more, but 7 or 8 calls. Now, will that fill my pipeline for the next 6 months? No. And can I repeat this multiple times? Yes. Can I create a poll every week if I want to? Yes. Will they all work? No. But this is a quick win that you can do to get some momentum going quickly. Yes, Corinne, you could do a poll for your content ideas, and you could do a poll to get people to tell you what's their biggest challenge. So I can use this to go, okay, I could do a series of posts now on getting a response, but I can actually click on the votes and follow up all the people, 28 people who've said they're struggling with getting a response. I'm going through quickly because I don't want to like pass some people's details on. 57 votes, right? So that's some of you probably voting there. I can use this and make various different versions of this. And this can be my quick win campaign that I can do once a week, once a fortnight, whatever I need. This is the leads on demand piece. Now I can accelerate that by sending some messages to people and saying, hey, I've just done this poll, love your take on it, and I can accelerate it. But this is something I can do now. This is something you can all do now. Now, the bigger picture of generating inbound leads from normal posts is harder, but this is something you can all do today. Everyone on this call, everybody watching me now can do this one today. So leads from content, this is the quick win. The long-term win is actually doing the content that speaks to the pains of your audience. Now I'm going to show you, Corinne's done a poll, Brill. I'm going to show you another way that I generate leads, which is a bit more tricky, but I'll show you it. Now, again, this one, you can repeat ad infinitum. And what I'm going to do, once I've just put this up, right, I've made a little download white paper. And again, if you've got a highly engaged audience because you're showing up and engaging with prospects, listen to me. As much as I love your likes and comments, and I'll appreciate them if they come, and I appreciate if you follow me, I just want to say something, right? Great, like and comment on my posts, support them. I really do appreciate everybody who does that. Thank you. And if I'm offering value into your world, please keep doing that. But if what you should be doing is spending your time engaging with your prospects' content, not spending your time engaging with influencers' content. The reason I say that is if you engage with prospects, they will come and look back, and then the algorithm will start to learn that you two are like a perfect match for each other. And so your prospects will see you more in their feed. So the more you engage with your prospects, the better it is for you. Notice I said there, please don't stop engaging with me, but that's what you need to do. You need to engage with your prospects. So make a commitment to say, right, every day on top of Dean's posts, I'm going to engage with 10 of my prospects every day. It doesn't have to be the same ones, but I'm going to meaningfully comment on their posts. And you can use Sales Navigator to find the meaningful comments. And then what happens is they come back and look at your profile. Now, this is a lead magnet that I've created, Get Clients from Social Media. I'm going to post it now so you can go and have a look. But notice what I've done. I'm going to post this without any post copy, and I'm just going to throw it up. And look what it is. Look what it is. It tells you exactly what it is on the tin. So if people see this in their feed, they can click, they go through to a very, very simple landing page, and they can download the guide and give me their email address. Now, this will not be appropriate for everybody on this call. But if you're a business owner, small business owner, solopreneur, marketing person, one of the key things you want to do on LinkedIn is move your LinkedIn network into an email list. And the reason why this is important is we all know how social media works, right? The bigger the social platform, it changes, it adjusts, the algorithm changes, all of that stuff happens. And whilst right now, LinkedIn is so relatively straightforward to build an audience, build traction, all of that stuff, you will notice all the influencers are trying to get you into their email list in some way, shape, or form. Why? Because they know that the long run, it will get harder and harder to get reach from social media platforms. And so it's not about mass reach. It's about the quality of the reach you do get. And so creating a lead magnet and posting it on LinkedIn to pull some of that, you can share it in your connection message, not your connection message, your thank you message as well. Hey, thanks for connecting. Here's a little resource I put together, might be useful for you. And I'll just show you an example of that. I can take this post, copy the link, send a message to, I'll send it to Dave Faulkner. Dead simple. Thanks for connecting, Dave. Hope all is good. Here is a resource, might be helpful to you. Yeah, I can sign off as Dean. But when I share that post, let it reload. It will show the preview of the post as well in the message. So I'll just show you there. Oh, it's not loaded yet. But it will load up the preview of the post in the feed, and then Dave can see the preview in the feed as well. So anytime, I'll just show you, socialmedia.net, www. Anytime, there we go. Yeah, so it'll show the preview. Now, will this get me hundreds of leads? No, but the people who do click will be people you want to follow up because you choose who to serve it. Again, if you're growing the network with the right people, you will get the right people showing up. And you have to follow up. One of the big things that I have time talking with business owners about is just because somebody's downloaded your lead magnet, just because somebody's voted on your poll, does not mean that they are easy wins. This day and age, you might have to follow up some people a few times. And this is one of the more difficult realities of generating leads. Just when you get a lead, it does not mean you just like, it's done now. I've got it. It's a home run. You have to fight and work for the leads. And there's all sorts of people suggesting, oh, you can do this and you can do that and you can do the other. The reality is, if you get somebody in your email list, you have to nurture them, invest in them, and move. But an email list is future proof. So if the algorithm changes, you have an email list. And I would encourage any small business watching me, solopreneur, whilst the content impressions are fantastic and you feel on top of the world, if you want to have a future-proofed business, you want to build an email list off of your social media platforms. Not just, yes, put out a post and generate some leads, but in the long run, that will be more difficult, more tricky, and more unpredictable. Whereas if you grow an email list, you can nurture that. You can grow it on all different platforms. You can move around. So whilst I'm a big advocate of LinkedIn, because it has the ability to message your prospects and interact with them and all that stuff, the long-term win for you will actually be building an email list. Now I'm going to show you, I've just shared that lead magnet there. And every time I put this out, I will pick up 5, 10, sometimes it depends what time I've done it. That was my third post, but I will put out this post, and this is my third post. So LinkedIn's going to get a bit antsy about me putting out 3 posts. I will pick up normally 5, 10, 15, maybe 25 leads just from putting out this post. And people will go, I want to have a look at it. And I think it's about a 20-page book. It's not like a little checklist. I put time into building this. So people get it. And then within 72 hours, we'll follow up with those people. And if they don't bite after the follow-ups, they go into our email list where we add more value and we nurture and we nurture and we nurture. So lead magnets are really powerful, but they have to be really dialed in, and you have to really invest in the other stuff going on your LinkedIn to make them work. You can't just do it in isolation, just throw it out and hope for the best. You have to build traction, which is why the different types of posts become important. But then the other one is, the other one that's really important here is in that email list is there's one way you can actually accelerate the growth of your email list massively. And I'll show you two more things because we're tight on time, and I'll leave some time for questions. And anybody, I'll just say, by the way, anybody who wants to talk to me privately about how can I generate leads, and let's say, for an example, you've got a target and you go, I've got to pull in £200,000 worth of new business this year. One of the things we'll do through our programs that we do is we'll sit down and write the plan with you. So we'll write a plan with you, jot down, okay, to get 200,000, how many calls do you actually need? We'll write all this down, and then we'll agree a plan with you of how to do it. And then we can either teach you and support you and coach you into doing it, and you do it yourself, or we can coach you and support you and help you do it. So we won't do all the work, but we will do the heavy lifting. So let me just show you one other way we do it. And in fact, you're on it right now. So on our company page, Mike P, yes, you can use automation to find email addresses. The only difference is what I'm talking about is building a warm email database. So where people have had some value from you and given you their email address in one way, shape, or form. Whereas a cold database, yes, you can build a cold database, but the success rate of a cold database is low. So I'm at a conference here in the UK today with CROs and sales leaders. And one of the big challenges they face is actually cold outreach is the success rate, the response rate from it is struggling. And the reason it's struggling is because there's so much noise. So what I'm talking about is a warm database, building a warm database where you can message them because they've given you their email. So Mike, there's nothing wrong with cold databases and doing that stuff, but you have to be really clever and really smart to actually make that work now because it's so noisy. It's really noisy. So one of the ways that we build our database really fast, and we teach our clients how to do this, whether it's coaching and training or it's done with you, is LinkedIn events. Now, the LinkedIn events feature, most people don't know how to use it the right way. So every one of you signed up today, there's 500 odd of you signed up. Not everybody's coming. Some are watching on YouTube, some are watching on LinkedIn. We will offer a ton of value in sessions like this, and we'll do it over and over and over again. And we do them live. It's especially important to do them live if you want to really invest in people and build those relationships. So if you're looking to go, hang on a minute, I want to really build relationships and build a list fast, we can build a list very, very quickly. So if I go to this event, which is next week, so this is next week, we're doing this one here. Ooh, I've not accepted this one yet. Because of the way we do this and the way we've designed this, you can see client winning content with ChatGPT. So we will do a free training session on this next week, Tuesday, the 11th of July, 7 o'clock UK time. We've already got 295 people signed up for this for next week. Why? Because we've been leveraging our network, and I can literally go into the event and I can pick and go, okay, into the United States. I can scroll down through the list. I'll just do this really quickly and show you. I'm only inviting 59 here, but I've just invited 59 in seconds. So you can see I just invited 59 people in seconds. Now imagine I can invite 1,000 people per week. Now, what you do on it, how you do it, is all about your strategy. What's your end goal strategy? So for my strategy for these events is, number one, when I'm doing them, it's to add a lot of value and build the trust and name of Maverick. That's my brand number one, brand objective number one. Objective number two is that some of you watching me on these webinars and live events will go, do you know what? We just need to nail this. We need to stop the guesswork. We need to stop playing around. We actually need to get this thing done. And so those people will say, yep, I'll talk to Maverick. Dean, Maverick team, how can you help us do this in the shortest possible times and eliminate the guesswork? And then we'll go, you can do this. We can do it this way, where you do it yourself and we support you and coach you and train you in how to do it, or we do it with you. And we'll take some of the responsibility for filling your events, for growing your email list and all of that stuff. And we will have those two options available for people. So that's my option. Goal number one is build the brand. So some of you here will never buy from us, and that's cool. But you will know who we are and you'll say, they're good guys. They offer a lot of value. Option number two is some people will go, sod this. I'm going to get Maverick's help. I'm not going to mess around anymore. I'm going to take it seriously and just get this thing done. And that's our kind of leads. Yeah. And then the balance of people will go into our email list. We will nurture for the future, because remember, not everybody's ready to buy right now. Not everybody's in that place where they go, I need your help. And so these three things I've shown you. Number one, content. I've not even got into sales outreach here, right? I've not even touched that, which is a whole other conversation we could have, is content, lead generation posts. That's number one. Number two is lead magnets. Number three is live events. And I can put pretty much most of my clients, I can get them 200 signups, on the first go, if they do it the right way and follow our process. Particularly, in fact, if you sign up with our Done With You service, we'll pretty much guarantee it. And we do guarantee it. So let me just go through some questions here. Mike P. Pre-selected ICPs target prospect list first and added them to the lead list. Mike, yes, I would advocate you should be, whether it's cold, warm, or the works, it should be very focused. It should be zeroed in as tight as possible in terms of definitions. The volume of connection requests, John Craven. So, John, you can send 100 connection requests per week. That's the maximum. You can break LinkedIn's rules, but to be honest with you, it's not worth the risk on your account. So you can send 100 a week, but I recommend doing 20 per day, 5 days a week. If you do them all in one go, there's a risk that you flag the automation detectors on LinkedIn and it looks like robotic activity, and then you risk your account. So 20 each day, 5 days a week is a good move. Paid leads. So Todo, you've paid. Now, LinkedIn paid is very hit and miss. And I've been talking to some people here about it because somebody mentioned they got 508 leads from a paid campaign today and 1 conversion. And they asked me, is that good or bad? And I said to them, it depends, because the vast majority of people that come from like lead downloads or capture forms, what have you, the vast majority of them don't convert immediately. It doesn't mean they're no good. It means they're not ready to buy. They're exploring. And more customers, prospects, clients are weighing things up for longer and researching longer before they talk to somebody. That's just the way the world's gone. So if you're running a paid campaign, yes, you can do it, but you need to be really focused, really focused. If you're going to be really focused, then great. But bear in mind that it might be, depending on your product and service, it might be that there's a massive lag for the majority of the results to actually materialize from those leads. So again, you need a nurture sequence or a nurture program once you've got the leads from LinkedIn. Mike P, I'm going to be, Paul, yeah, drop me a message and we'll set up a time to speak. Mike P, I would suggest to you, I'm not saying paid is a bad idea. What I'm saying is the lag, the amount of companies, I've had a conversation like this. Marketing's got us leads from paid campaigns, but they're rubbish because nobody responds and nobody converts, or hardly anybody converts. That's not a paid failure. It's the reality is, depending on what kind of campaign you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And I'll give you an example. You run a paid campaign on LinkedIn. You get 500 leads and you've spent 10 grand, say. Yeah, just roughly 10 grand to get 500 leads. Maybe a little bit less, but round about there. Of that, you will have to run that campaign for a long time before you really see the benefits of those 500 leads, because the vast majority will not be in the buying space immediately. And if you plug them into the salesperson team, they will go cold pretty quick, because what will happen is the sales will follow up and say, oh, they're no good, and maybe your email sequence. So if you're going to acquire leads by paid, be aware that the vast majority of LinkedIn paid leads will need nurturing for 6 to 9 months to see the benefits. Mike, if you want to have a chat with me, just drop me a line and I'll walk you through the options. But to give you an idea, I could get you 200 leads from a LinkedIn event every month with 0 ad spend. So I always advocate to people, get the organic working and scale with paid. So for an example, Mike, I've got this client winning content with ChatGPT next week, right? 295 people in there. We'll capture all those email addresses. Will all of them show up? No, that's just the way it is. But I can repeat that every week or every month with new people. So I can grow my email list net grows by about 500-600 people a week for free. I can net grow a client's account, even if they come with a basic LinkedIn that's got nothing on it. They can net grow their email list by about, maybe not month 1, but by month 2, they're net growing by 200 a month. Opt in, sign up, relevant people. So that's really easy to do. So what I would advocate is, number 1, there's another reason why I focus on live events as well. I'll tell you in a minute. Number 1, I would get something organic working, make sure it's performing, and then scale it. I wouldn't go through the pain of paying for paid to figure out what works. And a lot of people do this. Get something working organically, scale it. Organic and scale, organic and scale. Yeah, Mike, drop me a message. The other reason why I advocate doing events is, if you're selling on expertise, this day and age, people have to get to know you. So the reason why I do the events is you get to know me. You get to know what I'm about, what I'm like, what my views are, what my opinions are, and whether you can work with me. It's a qualifier as well. If you don't like me, you're not going to work with me and you're not going to buy from me. So the reason I like to do the lives is you get to see me in normal conversation. You get to know me, my thoughts on things. You can ask questions. So you get a degree of buy-in from doing these. Now, I want to show you one more thing just before we wrap up, and feel free to ask some questions. Now, one of the things, and I'm going to go into outreach just for a minute. If you've never used SalesNav, and I just want to plug this for a minute. On Thursday afternoon in the UK time, morning in the US, I'm running a Sales Navigator Masterclass. It is paid, but I'm going to show you how to outreach and have conversations with prospects in real time. Now, I'm going to show you this quickly, but inside Sales Navigator, if you configure Sales Navigator right, yeah, Sales Navigator will feed you leads every single week. And it will give you this list of recommended leads based on your buyer persona, based on your targets based on the organizations you want to reach, and it will give you this list every single week. That's the first thing. So if you set Sales Navigator up right, it will fill you with leads every week, and it will keep you very busy talking to prospects. But you may not be aware that LinkedIn also allows you to track the people and the companies that are checking you out and visiting your website. So as you can see here, I'm targeting small companies, and you can see that these companies in this size, we've got our US office here, but you can see that these companies here are actually showing buying intent towards Maverick. And when I look at this Versailles one here, yeah, I can look at who the company is, and I can see, look, company page, they're engaging with the company page and they're viewing profiles. And I can see who they are, and I can see, okay, these are the people, and these are the... So on the Sales Navigator workshop I'm doing on Thursday, I'm going to show you how to strike up conversations, use Sales Navigator effectively in all the ways that they don't tell you on the internet. I'm going to show you how the top sellers do it, how to get a conversation with people, and how to use all of these buying intent features, including when somebody's been to your website, you know about it. And I'll just pick on somebody else here. These are all small companies. So let's look at Happy Cow, right? So I can look at Happy Cow here, and I can see, oh, look, somebody's visited Mavericks. And I can see all this interaction and data and use it. And then I'm going to show you how to outreach to those people. So if you want to know about how to use the Sales Navigator piece, and I'll just give you one more thing to have a look at. I'm going to put something else on my profile here. In fact, no, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on Maverick's company page. And I want you to go have a look at this. So you have to do this quick because we've got to finish in a couple of minutes, right? I'll just leave you with this. This is just going to be like the little truth bomb that I'm going to leave you with, and then walk away. So if you want to know about my Sales Navigator thing on Thursday, drop me a line on LinkedIn and say, send me the details. You can email me, or I've actually got open messages, so anybody can message me. So I'm going to post this on my Mavericks company page. So hopefully you'll see it in a second. I'll just flip to view as member. And I'm going to show you this. And I'm not going to... Oh, there's the live there. Let me just get that up. I have to find it now. Here it is, right? So here it is. This is the post I've just put up. Go have a look at it. Now, most people don't know how to use this feature within Sales Navigator, but I'm going to show you on Thursday how to use it to actually get conversations going and how to do the right things with it. So you can see this is a smart link. You may have never heard of smart links before, but 4 people have viewed this smart link, and maybe some of you are viewing it now. Let's have a look. So some of you will have a look at this in a minute, but what I can do is click the analytics, and I can see who's been looking and when. So maybe some of you haven't got to it yet, but it will update in real time. And there is a little bit of a lag on the call here, and I can see who's been looking. So I can look in here and go, oh, these people have been looking and what they've been looking at. And I can do it on this one too. These are the people looking and what they've been looking at. So this is just a cool way of engaging prospects, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, how to find all the best opportunities, how to get in conversation with them, how to get people to respond, and how to book meetings using Sales Navigator. So please feel free to drop me a line if you've got any questions. Remember, profile, sort your profile out. Number 2, focus in on a core group of people. Don't be too broad, because you can't focus your content on the right people and write the pain point post where you explain the pain. Number 4, you want to keep up a regular content schedule so you get the visibility, and then you can do the quick win campaigns, which are the loaded polls. You don't have to do all of this stuff, of course. That's a lot of work. Lead magnets, a great way to consistently get 5, 6, 7, maybe sometimes more leads per week. Webinars, massive for building your email list and your prospects. So, any more questions before I sign off for the day, for the night? Any more questions? If you're looking to just get this done and nailed once and for all, drop me a message on LinkedIn, DM me win, and say, look, I want to talk. We'll jump on a call. I'll explain what your options are, give you a bit of a strategy. It's then up to you. Do you want to go and do it? Do you want my help and our team's help to actually make it happen? And do you want us to actually get the result with you? So there's the 3. We'll give you some help. We'll teach you and support you, or we'll help you do it. Brill. Any other questions before I sign off? Going once. Going twice. I feel like an auctioneer. I've always wanted to do, and then they slam the hammer down. Look, guys, come check out what we're up to. Think about the Sales Nav course. You want to join me this Thursday? We've got a couple of spaces left, not massive amounts of space because we don't like big groups, because we like everybody asking questions, because that's where you really learn. John, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Please do sign up for more stuff. Message me if you want to make an impact on LinkedIn, if you want to win those clients, if you want to win that business, you want to get those leads, and you're really serious about it, message me or have a call. I'll show you what's possible, and then you can take it from there. Thank you so much, and I will be back next week for client winning content with ChatGPT.